beautiful collectors and Simpson fans. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we have a bit of a twofer. Because realistically, this particular duo was never not together. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Super7 Simpsons Ultimates of Robot Itchy and Scratchy. Another absolute favorite episode of mine when the family goes to Itchy and Scratchy Land, which, for me, always reminded me of Disneyland, but itchy and scratchied, if that makes sense. Now, before we get too far into the review, I would really appreciate it if you would show your support by hitting that like button and giving me a thumbs up. Also, if you're new and you don't want to miss out on a future review, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Now, I decided, like I said, to do both of these in the same review because Itchy and Scratchy, it's like peanut butter and jelly. It's like Batman and Robin. They go together. And while you can buy them separately, it really makes more sense to get both together. And if you're listening to me and I sound a little bit bad, I apologize. I do have allergies and my throat is killing me. But opening these up, again, you got the mailer box right here. So, pulling that out like so, and pulling out Itchy, which is the mouse. So you bring that right there, and then bringing in Scratchy, the cat, because cats scratch. Cat scratch fever. And I have seen reviews for these already, but I like kind of doing this slow reveal. I think it's kind of fun, and I enjoy doing it. But then, of course, you got the plastic right here. But you got that gorgeous Simpsons logo right on the front coming out from the clouds, much like the opening sequence to the show, which is great. Come around the back, and there you have it. You got Itchy and Scratchy right there. You have to have them. And I love the fact that they're different. You have Itchy decapitating Scratchy. And then this one here, kind of like having Scratchy's head look like it's blowing off. Nothing ever happens to Itchy. And it always bothered me. As a cat fan, it always drove me nuts. It's not fair that the cat doesn't ever get to do anything. And, you know, I've always, like I said, really appreciated some of the nods that the Simpsons have done to previous sort of things. This very much reminded me of Tom and Jerry when I was a kid, and how the cats and the mice, and they would always kind of fight each other and never really kind of reconcile between them. And that was fine. That's the way that cartoons were back then. I mean, it's definitely a different time in terms of cartoons and what was put on TV. Things like that. So I could just cut this, but I'm not going to, because this is just fun kind of doing. So there we go. Okay, so here we have them. Let's lift this up, and there is Robot Itchy right now, and of course Robot Scratchy coming up, revealed right there. Again, it's super cool. You have a little bit of a read up right there where tells you about how they appeared at Itchy and Scratchy Land back in 1994. Super cool. Now let's spin these two around, getting a first look. Oh, these are so big. I honestly didn't expect them to be this big, but that is super cool. Itchy's totally like looking off in the distance and everything, but you got all the different accessories, the different headpieces, which are fantastic. Of course, we have Scratchy, which... And, you know, I love the fact that there's a size difference between them as well. Got his face, which, that's super fun. But super cool. And like I said, as a Disney fan, getting to see Itchy and Scratchy Land, like I mentioned, really did remind me of Disneyland. And at Disneyland, they always have parades and things of that nature. And these guys were in the parade as, like, robots, and Disney's known for... like the robots and animatronics, so it was just super fun. But for the packaging on these guys, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get them out here and see how cool they actually are.
Oh look, it's the 12 noon robot parade. Hurry up or we'll have to wait for the 12:05 parade.
so much like my dreams, it's scary.
And here we have robot Itchy and Scratchy opened up out of their packaging and absolutely full of accessories. In addition to these being fairly large figures just by themselves, which naturally brings on a slightly higher price point, as you can see, they come with a ton of accessories. Now, some are duplicated between the two. For example, both do come with this really nice axe, and I'm trying to look at it, and it pretty much looks identical. If you go like that, one will naturally look bigger just because that's kind of an illusion thing, but when you put them together, they're the exact same size. So isn't that kind of funny? How one kind of looks like it's smaller than the other? Just illusions, but really nice silver paint on both of them. You got a red edge, you got a really nice brownish, kind of beige color for the actual handle, but you got the choppies with it. You also do get chainsaws for both of them. Again, pretty much identical looking. I don't really see anything that's different between them. You got the little dot section there. You got silver paint for the handle. You got silver for the main section of the chainsaw, and then the actual chain portion, which grinds everybody up, has a nice kind of gunmetal gray looking color. You got a little bit of a silver bit right there at the top. But again, really nice to have those. They both also do come with mallets, which again, identical, although this one looks like it's a little bit warped, but they are very identical looking, just slightly weirdly shaped because of probably being in the package or something like that. But very nice reddish brown color, so you can beat each other. You also do get, these are Tommy guns, which both, again, look identical, and that's perfectly fine because they were identical in the show. And you can have these guys walking down Main Street kind of shooting at each other, which is, you put one here, you put one here, and go, and you got that. Now this is where we're going to get into some slightly different accessories. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely sure which one comes with which, but you got a dagger, which has a very nice silver blade section. You can see that's slightly pointing. Then you got the brown section there for the handle. This I like, but one thing, and it's funny because we saw this with the little tiny one walking in the back of the large ones.
Cute little baby axe. It's cute, but I'm sure it's very sharp and probably dirty.
And I just love what Marge says with it. But the problem though is there's no way you can have it stand. It leans back and it just falls completely, and that is very much annoying. Now you can slightly pull this forward. It's not articulated, but because of the material, you can kind of bring that forward, and then you would probably be able to get it to stand. I'm just going to try and bend it a little. Let's see. You got to go quick with it because it's going to go back. There you go. But you can see it's going to fall. How long it's going to take to fall, I have no idea. But I'm definitely going to make... Oh, yeah, you can see it kind of leaning back. So I'll probably heat that up to make it so it can actually... There it goes. Make it actually stand, because it's pointless to have it like this. But I love it. You got like the bigger ones. You got a little one. And these ones actually had legs as well, if I remember right. And they were walking around. Look at the little tiny one behind it. It's so cute. You also do have this great Bort license plate. You can see that it's a care of Itchy and Scratchy Land, and that was the joke, where Bart was trying to find his license plate with his name on it, and he couldn't, and he's like, Bort? And he was like, who has that name? And then you find out that there are a couple people inside that shop that have that name, so...
Cool, personalized plates. Barclay, Barry, Bert, Bort? Oh, come on, Bort? Mommy, buy me a license plate!
No, come along, Bort.
Are you talking to me?
No, my son is also named Bort.
That's a great little tiny accessory. Again, fun little knot. I like it. Very thick, a lot thicker than what a normal license plate would be, but very kind of cool. And then it's also a little bent again. Also, I don't know if it's designed to be that way, but or maybe it just helps it make it stand. I guess, I don't know. And then you do get this with, I believe it's Itchy, and it's a drum section, so you can put this around his neck and kind of put that there. And then you have little beating things for it. So he's going to be walking down Main Street holding these, kind of beating on the drum set. And you see you got Scratchy on there. You got this kind of flexible gold little hook thingy, really nice light blue in there. Really great detail throughout the entire thing with the different gold colors all the way around. I really like that. And then with the little drum sticks, I guess, that kind of looks like it's foam, but it's not. It's all done in a plastic, but really very nice. Problem that I would say with that is that ITCHY is very top-heavy. Now, I have seen some people that have had really loose knees and joints. Mine's actually pretty solid, but I can definitely see it getting worse over time. And I do kind of angle it where it's a little bit more bent like that. And I'm trying to kind of look like he was leaning back, so something like that. And that's a little bit better. But he's definitely very top heavy because of the way that his head is designed. You got a lot of extra plastic here over the center of gravity for him, so he does have a tendency to want to kind of lean forward. And like I said, I have seen some people kind of complain about that in terms of the articulation being loose. Luckily, mine is not, so your mileage may vary on it. But you would put it around here, and you know, I'm gonna try it. Hold on, let me try pulling this. Hold on. All right, so I pulled his head off. I'm gonna put that right there, and then put that back on like that, and see how that actually works. I mean, again, maybe if you bend the knees a little bit more, yeah, that's all right. That's not as bad as I thought. But I mean, I definitely would bend the knees just to kind of give him a little bit more of that center of gravity balance sort of thing there. So you do have that, and then let's see, is it going to be these hands? It's probably going to be these hands, to be totally honest with you. You just kind of wedge these inside. He doesn't really hold them all that tightly. Just kind of rest in there, and I don't even think you can't really do it with that one there at all. But these hands here definitely have more of a gripping sort of posture where they're kind of closed. So you have that. If you wanted to have the chainsaw, this one, it's kind of doesn't really do anything. It just kind of, I guess it just kind of hangs there. Let's see, what do we got with the Tommy gun? Which the Tommy gun, you can't do anything with that. That's probably going to be a weird, awkward one. The hammer, or the mallet, whatever you want to call it. Again, you just kind of wedge it in between there. So kind of sits in there, but it's not really going to grip all that well. So dropping him and pulling that one off. Taking this off. And then just setting this off to the side and then taking a look at the other accessories. The final accessories, realistically, he does come with two different heads here. And on the surface, they almost look identical. You from the front, you got the red eyes, you got the little teeth right there with the nice silver paint on there. You got the little hair section, which looks like it's going the same way. Big giant ears, which is super fun. But there is a noticeable difference. When you come around here to the side, you can see that both of them actually have a seam. So if you get that on there pretty decently, you're not going to know. But this one actually has a top section where this is super cool. You see the different transistors, all that kind of stuff. As the robots were walking down Main Street, ITCHY goes over and kind of like takes his hat off and then bows to Marge and Homer. And Marge kind of jokingly says to Homer that that's probably why his robot didn't work, because look at all the stuff that's in there.
See all that stuff in there, Homer? That's why your robot never worked.
Which is funny. I love it. But I don't know if we really needed two different heads. This would have been perfectly fine to give us, because it's identical looking to this one. I mean, even to the point where you got the crease that goes all the way around. I mean, it doesn't. And like I said, if you get that completely pushed down there, it hides it very well. So I don't really know why we needed one that didn't have that. The position of the ears is all the same. So it's weird to me. And I mean, totally honest, this is the head that I'm going to use for him. So I don't know why they decided to give us 2 heads, other than the fact, that they give us multiple head sculpts with all of them, or all these Simpson figures. I just feel like that it's definitely redundant with these 2 different figures. It's nice looking, don't get me wrong, it's almost identical to that. And then when you come to Scratchy, again, you do get the same types of hands with them. They are a little bit bigger, obviously, because Scratchy is a bigger character. But you also have the same thing with his head. When you look all the way around, you have that crease that goes around there. And depending on how well you're able to kind of squeeze this one on there, it looks identical to the other one that we got. You got the red eyes, you got his tongue sticking out, you got the little jagged edges for his hair and his ears. But again, you got that crease that goes around all the way around it. Same thing with this, so that you can take this one and pull that off. And the best joke with that was when they would pull it off.
I really wish they wouldn't scream.
It would scream, which is hilarious. And then again, you just kind of fit that back on there, and it's identical to this one. So, I mean, it's not that I'm not grateful that we're getting them, but I think that they're redundant and not necessary, and they could have given us something else to go along with this set. Now, you're already getting a ton of different accessories, or maybe don't even include this and lower the price a little bit more, because while these are bigger figures and come with a lot more accessories, it also does have a higher price point on it. So definitely not necessary. Fun to have, but certainly not necessary when it comes to these, I should say, particular sets. But now, coming in to take a closer look at the figures, starting off first with Itchy. Again, tremendous amount of detail in terms of the recreation to the actual animation. The gray color looks fantastic. I love the fact that they got those little red eyes put in there. Very accurate. I like how they even have a slightly grayer tone to the inside of the ears than the rest of the body. You can see that it's lighter on it, and then the back section here also has that same gray color, I suppose, and then you got the darker elements, which work perfectly with like the neck, the arms themselves. You got some silver bits like with the teeth, the buttons there. His torso section right here has a little bit of that darker gray plastic as well. All the way around, very, very nice. You got a dark gray plastic for the tail, which is on a ball joint, so a lot of great detail. You got a little box section here, got a little tiny, I don't even know, like a little hair bit right there. Amazing amount of detail. Articulation wise is also going to be basically the same between the two. You do have a hinge right here that you can see, so you do get a nice range of motion looking up, not so much looking down. The chin section kind of gets in the way, so can't really look down, but it is also on a ball joint. Oh, I'm pulling off his head. But it doesn't really do anything. It just kind of wiggles. The shoulders here do rotate all the way around. They have a hinge in and out. Same with the elbow. I think they did a great job with that as well in terms of creating a fairly seamless look for it, which just makes it look like one giant tube, which looks really good. You got the hand section here. These are also on hinges and such. You can kind of hinge that up a little bit and then back down. It can also rotate. You do have a waist rotation right there. The hips do just move forward and back. They don't move in and out or anything. And then you come down to the knee. Those also move forward and back. Again, I have seen some that have reported these as being fairly loose. Same thing. This one's actually really stiff. The knees and the ankles on mine are actually pretty decent. But I can see where it would pose a problem later on, which is why, for the most part, I'm going to keep him kind of bent like that, just to kind of lessen some of the stress on those joints and get him to stand pretty decently. Also, like I said, the tail is on a ball joint, so you can move that around as you see fit. Coming over to Scratchy himself, again, great detail on him. Essentially the same in terms of the overall look, where you got the lighter gray. Some elements here have the darker gray bits on there, like the nose and then the tongue. You can see on the inside of the mouth, all the way in the back there, he does have a black element, which looks good. Same kind of thing with the body, with the gray, with the silver bits and the teeth and everything. Arms and everything, all basically the same thing. The other thing that's really nice is he does have a tail, which actually is accurate to the actual episode. There's this little molded in wheel section, which is really cool because it actually did have that, and you can even actually use that to kind of balance him a little bit, which is nice. You can't really do that with Itchy, but Scratchy definitely has it. And then you can see that they are a slightly different size, which works because Itchy and Scratchy were different sizes, and I really like that. And you can really see that as well with the arms being a slightly thicker kind of tube look, the hands having a slightly bigger look to them as well. All the articulation is still the same. Like I said, you do have a hinge here. This one is a little bit, because of the back section here, it is a little bit more limited. Although, I wonder if it makes it easier to do. No, I guess it doesn't really matter. So you can hinge that, but again, you have a slight ball joint, which doesn't really do much. The rotation, the hinge at both the elbow and at the shoulder itself for a really good range of motion with them. The waist does have the rotation, and then you have the hinge for the legs. Again, Itchy's is a little bit looser, Scratchy's a little bit better, but this ankle's a little bit bad, but again, you can kind of mitigate that with his tail, which is fantastic. So you can just take that and plop him there, kind of prop the tail, and then this, what is this on? Is this on just a hinge? Yeah, that's just on a ball hinge kind of thing, but you can definitely get him positioned, and let me try to wiggle that around a little bit, and then you can see, you can set that there where that's kind of like tripoding them. But I really do like these guys. I think that they, for the most part, turned out really well. There's definitely some aspects of them that I think could have been done better, but for the most part, I'm very happy with them. I think that they're fun. It is definitely unfortunate we're not going to get real versions of Itchy and Scratchy, but I love the robot versions of them. And then for comparison, I'm spinning everything around here. Let's bring in the other Simpson figure that I've taken a look at recently, that being Homer, and just set him there. Now, Homer is definitely a bigger figure. I feel like this is, get that back a little bit more. Homer is definitely a bigger character, but you can see that these guys are still really big nonetheless, but they look fantastic. I'm really quite impressed with how all these first wave figures have really turned out. Overall, though, very fun figures. As I mentioned originally, they are sold separately, but you really do need to have these together. The likeness to the on-screen counterpart is exemplary. Super7 has done a terrific job of taking those 2D drawings and translating them to 3-dimensional figures. They look outstanding. Articulation on them is pretty solid. There have been reports of Itchy kind of having loose joints, but as you can see on mine, they're pretty decent. So your results may vary. Ultimately though, I definitely recommend picking these up if you're interested in them. Even though that, yes, the line has come to an end, the figures that they did produce are extremely well done. And I certainly think that Simpsons fans will be happy. And the best part is that right now, the first wave is roughly 40% off of the retail price if you go over and get them from Big Bad Toy Store, making this an outstanding way to add these to your collection. So for that, I'll put a link right down there in the video description where you can swing on by and check out availability on Itchy and Scratchy, at least their robot forms, as well as the rest of their wide range of Super7 figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Again, if you like this video, I would really appreciate your support by hitting that thumbs up button and sending me a like. Also, if you're new and you don't want to miss out on a future review, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. And until next time, this is Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir.